Mental relaxation. Early human civilizations in the East practiced Buddha's teachings, while in the West they performed rituals. One place they mastered the consciousness through meditation, and other place they altered consciousness through psychedelics. But there is another alternative technique called consciousness hacking through technological innovation. A mathematical equation through virtual reality can offer and alter and master consciousness at the same time. A genius painter from Japan, a legendary scientist from Princeton University, and an engineer from IBM came from a different walks of life, from different times, made important contributions for consciousness hacking. Benoit Mandelbrot was hired by IBM to solve a nagging problem in the early days of telecommunications. The problem is a noise popping up while sending the data across telephone lines. Noise is an undesirable or unwanted signal that gets randomly added to the actual information carrying signal. Mandelbrot noticed a fixed pattern of noise repeating across the telephone lines irrespective of the distance the data traveled. Mandelbrot recollected seeing a similar idea before, a picture of a giant wave on a children's spiral notebook. The picture is the original painting from 18th century well-known Japanese artist Katsushika Hokusai. It is called the Great Wave of Kanagawa. Look at any part of the Great Wave, it looks very similar to the whole wave. The whole contains the parts. It looks counterintuitive, but the part also contains the whole. The artistic expression gave rise to a new concept in mathematics called fractals. Mandelbrot discovered nature's fundamental unit repeated through a geometrical pattern. The same geometrical pattern is present everywhere in the clouds, seashores, trees, and even in the human bodies. The nervous system looks very similar to that of a lightning. The EKG of the heart signal is strikingly similar to that of a noise signal in telephone wires. If you further zoom in into the signal, the strange-looking pattern emerges. The pattern is discovered by Mandelbrot, bears his name Mandelbrot set. The nature around you, the snowflakes, trees, mountains are built from these series of Mandelbrot sets. We can also observe Mandelbrot sets at the beginning of life in a woman's womb. The equation that governs the nature is spectacularly simple and displays the nature in exquisite details. Before the public understood the power of the Mandelbrot sets, Hollywood jumped in. The Star Trek movies with the fractals put the movie watchers in a trance. There is a different kind of a trance was described by an American botanist, a former New Age hippie, Terence McKenna. He frequently experimented with a psychedelic brew called ayahuasca. He chronicled his experiences through books and videos. Amazonian Indians consumed this brew on ceremonial occasions. Terence McKenna claims this brew produced visual and auditory hallucinations while his eyes were closed. He claimed his experiences profoundly changed his outlook on life.
Many of them, and they come pounding toward you, and they will stop in front of you and vibrate, but then they do a very disconcerting thing, which is they jump into your body. They jump into your body, and then they jump back out again. And the whole thing is going on in this very high-speed mode, where you're being presented with thousands of details per second, and you can't get a hold on, you say, my God, what's happening?
In recent studies by Johns Hopkins and New York University Langone Special Unit Psychedelic Medicine Center conducted studies with the psychedelic drug psilocybin in a controlled environment. The chemical compound in psilocybin is dimethyltryptamine, in short called DMT. The studies show a single dose of psilocybin dramatically reduces the depression with the subjects of research. Interestingly, the visual hallucinations the subjects describing look very similar to Mandelbrot fractals. In the years before, Albert Einstein published a theory of general relativity, a profoundly mind-bending way of looking at nature. Mass tells space-time how to curve, and space-time tells mass how to move. Gravity is not a force, it is an illusion created by the bodies moving in space-time curvature. Einstein deployed a very different branch of mathematics called non-Euclidean geometry. We don't experience non-Euclidean geometry in our everyday lives. American Airlines pilot explained this phenomena through a tricky example. The shortest route from Dallas to Hong Kong is first Dallas to Seattle, then Seattle to Alaska, then Alaska to Siberia, then Siberia to Mongolia, then Mongolia to Hong Kong. That is the shortest route. But you see on a flat map, it creates an illusion the Hong Kong is directly right across Dallas. But if you combine Einstein's non-Euclidean geometrical concepts with the Mandelbrot fractals, watching in a virtual reality devices, it is truly a technical wonder. It produces mind-feasting, kaleidoscoping patterns where all your visual channels are fully occupied. It puts you in a trance and gives you same bliss without inducing substances. The fractals are nature's artistic expressions. Now you are in tune with the nature. Welcome to 25 milligram DMT experience without a DMT. Consciousness hacking through technology is a mass mental relaxation technique for modern humans. Thank you for watching.
So, this is all for educational purposes only. That I'm going to talk about a little bit of these are all educational purposes only. So don't use it. This is for a educational exercise. But anyway, let me show you the little bit of talk about a little bit of psychedelics and so this woman, her name is Erin Bashfinger. The story appeared on a Medium, actually, in the magazine Medium, the digital magazine. She was diagnosed as a terminally ill cancer, breast cancer. She's at the stage 4 cancer, and she is dying there. She's consumed by dying thoughts because she has 2 young children. And then she went to the Dr. Sunil Agarwal, another Indian physician in Seattle. She's from Seattle, actually. So how do you constant bothering about thinking about dying thoughts and the kids is really taking a complete taking over her life, and she wants to solve that problem. But the doctors are not trained how to treat the dying patients. They refer to auspices, but it is something that really there is not much of a thing. They know how to treat the sick, how to treat a disease, but the dying is the one thing that is, this still evolving field. Palliative care is evolving field. It's not really there. They don't have enough tools to do that. One of the tools could be psilocybin. That is the psychedelics itself. So she wants to take he wants to prescribe a psilocybin, but psilocybin is a Schedule 1 drug. That means drugs with a no currently accepted medical use and a high potential for abuse. So they won't allow you. Is not you cannot prescribe easily. So that is not possible. So that is a problem. So they went to the federal court. Actually, Dr. Sunil Agarwal and the Erin Beshwinger, they filed a federal lawsuit in the federal court in Seattle area. He's a doctor, he's a physical rehabilitation doctor. He is trying to prescribe this. There was a complete 1 hour program in the World Science Festival they did on the psychedelics. You must watch it. But so these are there were street names. Let us not talk street names like LSD, mushrooms, but it is a potentially clinical use we are going to talk about. But this is the I talk about something with the physics behind it. What is the physics and chemistry behind it? Is that the spiritual experience that they feel? That's what the Terence McKenna is saying, that he is feeling that spiritual experience after taking the psychedelics. But can you quantify spiritual experience? Is there any say by physics and mathematics say anything about its spiritual experience? I believe it's so. So that's what I'm trying. So all our beauty and experiences came from laws of physics, because we are living in a three-dimensional world. The African savannas of Africa, we are trained to think in three-dimensional understanding. The environment has a profound effect on us. So lots of physics play an important role, gravity and everything. So all our thinking about beauty and experiences are all contained within that system. Some people, you think the beauty is beholder's eye of the beholder. It's exactly true. The same thing applies to all humans, in fact, because the laws are universal. Those laws contain certain things that you can accept, that experiences are we are indirectly influenced by these laws of physics and laws of nature itself. So what is a beauty? Let us talk about a beauty, for example. Everybody knows about the beauty a little bit, and everybody says that they consider beauty. But in physics, we have a certain definition for beauty. If you take a symmetry, if you take a Marilyn Monroe on the left side, the Hollywood actress, she died, or Denzel Washington, an Indian Bollywood actress, Aishwarya Roy, if you draw a line between the eyebrows, if the left side is more or less similar to the right side, that's called a bilateral symmetry. They found out by research, the more symmetrical they are, both sides, they are considered as a beautiful. Very strange, but that's what but there is a reason to it, because when there is a line coming up, you see only half of the line in the savannas of Africa. And then you can guess the rest of the half of the line is dangerous, threat for you. But if you see a woman, the rest of the eyes are that symmetrical thing has influence on us. So that we are influenced by the symmetry itself. So that nature itself simulates the symmetry. For example, you see butterflies, they're both sides are the perfect bilateral symmetries, both sides. The diamond has several symmetries. I will explain to you those are all. There's one kind of symmetry, bilateral symmetry I'm talking about, but we can talk about other kind of symmetry is there. Okay, so if you see Bollywood movies, most of the villains, bad guys, have one eye. One eye is something out of shape. There's other part of the face is messed up. So that's what they show. In fact, they did a research. They show an aggression. That's what they say. But anyway, so the bilateral symmetry is a face. In fact, we are humans. Women have this is a research done. The honeybees actually prefer beauty along with the honey. Believe it or not. So they see flowers with the radial symmetry. Radial symmetry is a kind of a symmetry. So the honeybees prefer beauty itself. Now, women with the guys, with the sex, particularly orgasm, that's what they say. That if bilateral symmetry, they have much more orgasms than people with. So bilateral symmetry plays a role in the sex itself. So reproduction. So that is something symmetry has a very profound influence on all of us. But actually, in fact, there is something deep inside the symmetry and the beauty itself that is very strangely connected. The universal laws of the universe is connected with the beauty in a certain way. That is called symmetry. The symmetrical natures of Emmy Noether is a German mathematician. So she is born in 1888, and then she died in 1935 in Philadelphia. In fact, she was born in England, Germany, and she practiced there. Actually, she is the first mathematical professor in one of the universities. They said that, what is the guys told her? How can we have told her boss, another famous mathematician, David Hilbert? They told him that, how can you hire a woman? The people who are coming from the war, do they need to bow the heads of the to a woman? That's what they asked. Why you are hiring a woman to teach mathematics? David Hilbert said that this is not a Turkish bathhouse. This is a university, academic institution. So he gave a fitting reply for that kind of things. Okay, so that is I don't know what happened to is a very strange. He disappeared on me in the Daniel Hall. But anyway, let me continue. The universe and beauty are connected. Emmy Noether gave a profound, even she surprised even Albert Einstein. She said that there are the laws that embedded in the universe that are connected with the beauty, with the symmetry. Symmetry you can see everywhere in the universe itself. Actually, all the laws of physics that you see came from the symmetry, laws of symmetry. In CERN, if you look at the CERN in the Switzerland, that's a Large Hadron Collider. That's what they look at, the symmetry. Actually, that's more interested in symmetry of the fundamental particles. The symmetry and beauty are intertwined. So she found the mathematical formulas for that. So that is the Emmy Noether. So Emmy Noether is a brilliant, genius mathematician. So if, for example, I'll give you one example of, if you take a snowflake and take a picture of that, if you move around, that is the rotational symmetry. Okay, because you don't see any difference. The law exactly it looks same. If you move around, if you turn around the snowflake, any 360 degrees, you can't tell the difference. That's a law is embedded in the nature. That's a very important law. It may look very common and intuitive for you, but it's a very important law for that. It is a rotational symmetry. It is actually the angular momentum is based on that law. Conservation of angular momentum. Actually, all the particles you do cancer therapy, that you do the positrons, they go hit the inside the positrons, and then they produce the 2 gamma photons, but the angular momentum is conserved. We use a PET CT scan. Actually, that symmetry, we follow the laws of symmetry there. So the beauty of the symmetry is embedded. It is a fundamental laws. Actually, the laws that you see, the angular momentum law, physics came from the laws of symmetry. They are more fundamental. If we have a cheat sheet, all the laws of physics are that we, as a physicist, I am a physics graduate, and we used to think all the physics laws are the fundamental, but the laws of the physics came from the symmetry itself. Okay. But so there's another law came from conservation of energy. This is, everybody knows this law. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. It's the first law of thermodynamics. It actually came from a time symmetry. Time symmetry means if you throw a ball, it goes up and comes down. It is doesn't matter it is yesterday or today or tomorrow. It follows the rule. That symmetry, it is called time symmetry, it gives rise to a law of conservation. It looks very funny, but it looks very counterintuitive. It's not a counterintuitive. It's not a it is not a counterintuitive, but it is. It is the time symmetry. It comes the law of conservation of energy comes from the time symmetry. So all the laws of universe came from the beauty itself. The definition of beauty is the symmetry itself. The laws of beauty came from conservation of energy. So if you think about that, she came to United States in the last 2 years of her life. She hardly lived here for 1 or 2 years, and she died with a cancer, ovarian cancer, in fact. And she's a brilliant. Einstein called her genius. So what is a OCD, for example, obsessive compulsory disorder? I have a friend in Philadelphia. I don't want to say her name; she'll kill me. she has the perfect OCD. Everything has to be in place. If you make a little bit, if you take a milk carton one place to, if you replace to a different place, she's going to get very upset. So all these days, but a lot of these doctors think it is a behavioral problem, it's a behavioral disorder. But more and more, the physics is saying that something is different. It is a obsessive compulsory disorder. Is maybe a extreme need of symmetry. They want the symmetrical patterns. A genetic disorder. We can take a symmetric order, but some people cannot even take that symmetric order, a symmetry itself. That's extreme need of the genetic is a genetic behavior. It may be connected with genetics, with the extreme need of symmetry itself. Perfect. Everything has to be in perfect places. That's kind of a symmetry itself. So OCD maybe is not behavioral problem. It could be. If you have OCD, go to the doctor. Not this is for educational purpose only. Talk about it. But anyway, so what is the beauty itself? It pervades everywhere in the nature. You see in the trees. You see in the left side. And the flowers, beautiful flowers, they follow radial symmetry. And the diamond is a perfect crystal, is a perfect definition of symmetry. So that's why beauty and geometry is so much connected together. We define the beauty. There is a geometry behind it. We think it's beautiful. Is a geometry is inside of it. That's what we. So nobody likes geometry teachers. Nobody is crazy about geometry teachers, even including me. When I was studying physics, geometry was not a favorite subject. The teachers. In fact, that is one of the problems. We need a good teachers to teach, to creative way to teach geometry. The geometry came from actually it was born out of need from the agricultural. In Egypt and Greek, they wanted to settle the disputes of the lands. They found out, they came out the geometrical equations, algebraic geometrical equations from Iran, and all those people they invented because of the land disputes. But anyway, so you understand there is a beauty is connected with the geometry. So there are fractal geometry. Fractals are. I was talking in the video. Fractals are a fundamental units of the nature. So they are repeated self-similarity. They repeat everywhere. So you can see the fractals in the human nervous system, even the virus structure, even the coronaries of the heart. You can see the structures of the fractals. That's a geometrical structures. It looks crazy, but if you understand the fractals and geometry, you will see that beauty inside. Even though they're dangerous, some of them are good. So you see the protein structures, or some of them. The virus is a spike protein. COVID-19 follows certain geometry. So human body is full of geometry. In fact, so then nowadays people are thinking there's a new further thought could be a fractal geometry. The neurons in the brain acts like a fractals. They arrange themselves fractals for the complex thoughts. In fact, a neuron, if you think of neurons, they take a picture of hologram, it is a geometrical hexagonal structure. They form a hexagonal structure. So geometry is embedded in our nature, beauty, and our thinking, our reactions, everything in geometry is there because we are guided by universal laws. We think that something we are free will. Free will is an illusion in that sense. It is all geometrical structure. So beauty, the once they saw in the video, that psychedelics video, they experience audio visual stimulations. You can combine the fractals, Mandelbrot fractals, combined with the negative curvature. You don't see hyperbolic structures quite a bit in the real world. For example, in the neck, behind the neck, is a hyperbolic structure, it's a negative curvature. If you combine that, you don't see a huge structures, that kind of things. We are not used for it, our mind. So when you combine them, is it possible that you can simulate that experience in the audio visual stimulation that I showed you? Is actually you can simulate that one. We have a mental health catastrophe is in making right now in the world. There is a kids killing kids. The people are going through a mental breakdowns. So we can solve this problem by simulating that experience through technology. I tell you what that technology is going to be. So as a physician, if you are a physician watching it, human body is a universal laws embedded inside. It's a nature's wonder. It's a geometrical structure of the utmost geometrical structure. Universal laws embedded in that human body. When you look at when you examine a body, that if you think that is a geometrical structure, a beauty of the nature's wonder, you will see a different way of thinking at the human body. Not some all the things that we see is not. So you see, it's a human body is the creation of the best of the wonders of the universal law. Laws of symmetry, Emmy Nether was talking about. Okay, so when you are examining, innovations come from this more and more. You thought about geometry. I was watching, most of the times I watch these doctors presenting. I'm not a doctor, but I don't know. So I'm a physicist. So when Dr. Beale, Douglas Beale is a pain doctor, he's a radiologist and a pain physician. He's showing a lot of things on the pictures of the X-rays. But I see a geometrical structure. I see inside the geometry they're talking about. The support system, the screws and everything is basically a geometrical structure. If you think in terms of that, you may have some innovative solutions for a lot of things. That is a geometry is a basic embedded in our nature, embedded in our system. So I would say so how do you measure this? Mandelbrot, you can buy t-shirts, and also you can do virtual VR. So I did a program on virtual New York. As her name is Cassandra Phillips in Atlanta. She took my word and they really created a lab, neuro lab. She's a virtual reality lab. It is a neurofeedback. Both of them, they combine them together. You can do mindful meditation through negative curvatures, particular factors you see. Then you see a different world. You're eventually, it has a profound effect on the brain without all the substances. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I don't know that anyhow. All will ask him what happened. He could not get up. Probably that's what it is. But it is an honor. I'm going to play this video about my. I'm going to play a book that I wrote. I'm going to play the book. We got a couple of minutes time, so I'm going to play my book review for all of you. 1 second, okay?
Where your shipping address types itself. where all your tabs go. And
Ramana for hours and hours, and I had that opportunity. As a matter of fact, it was a great honor to have him, to spend so much time with him over the years when he was here in Silicon Valley.
We are retelling their stories through our patented designs that can be worn on scrubs, t-shirts, printed on conference bags, and endless other promotional materials. Daily Wear for Medicine is the first ever of its kind to create curiosity in medicine through visual art. We at MedBricks are celebrating unsung heroes of the past who made enormous contributions to the field of medicine through our unique campaign called Daily Wear for Medicine. You can wear it, carry it, and give it.